Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your Rangers Review press conference reaction video. Live, as you can see, from Josh's viewpoint. We are live from Old Trafford, where Rangers take on Manchester United tomorrow evening. And we heard from Ruben Amorim and Harry Maguire earlier on this afternoon. And Josh has just came out the Rangers press conference where Philip Clement and James Tavernier have been speaking. First of all, Joshua, how's your day been? Pretty full on today?
Full on day, Derek, but I had worse days, obviously. And yeah, some venue, obviously, just to my left is where the Rangers fans will be housed tomorrow night. One of the kind of iconic stadiums, isn't it, in world football, and a club that is not in a fantastic moment. Philippe Clement was actually asked about that in his press conference moments ago. Is there some parallels between Rangers and Manchester United, which he wasn't keen to be drawn on, but a busy day, some intriguing comments from Ruben Amorim earlier, who's very much in the spotlight, not least because of what he said at the weekend, and then across here quickly to Old Trafford to hear from James Tavernier and Philippe Clement too. So it's a big game, and now it's close. I think you understand the how significant a night this could be for Rangers and how significant a result actually is for Manchester United given their run in recent months.
Yep, it certainly is an iconic stadium, but it's falling to bits. I very much hope that I'm not rained on tomorrow in that press box, which is tiny. Have you been in at the press box yet, Joshua, where you're going to be sat? Because it doesn't accommodate big fellows like me and you, so it looks like we may be squished together somewhat.
Well, I don't know if you are. I'm kind of looking around because I came up. I thought I was in the press box, and it looks quite nice to me and quite spacious. So maybe
they might have rejigged it about.
Maybe they've rejigged it. It looks pretty good to me, to be fair. But I mean, obviously, United have not been what they've been in the last 10 years. But and we've been to a lot of stadiums following Rangers in the last few years, even just for the Rangers review. But you do come to a stadium like this, and it gives you a little bit of a different feel. And Rangers have not won away. I don't think they've beaten an English club away since Leeds United in European competition. I could be wrong. You
right.
know better than me. They obviously were down at Anfield a couple of years ago for what was a 2-0 defeat. The one thing they've kind of missed, I think, for how good they've been in Europe in recent years, and they almost got this against Spurs, didn't quite, but the one thing they've missed is a big result against an English team. And it's going to take a lot for them to do it tomorrow. But equally, when you look at their European record and you look at Man United's home record, there's a chance and a bit of optimism going into the game. So, and in terms of the press box, it looks fine to me. But you'll have to give me your take tomorrow.
I'm very much looking forward to the spread that they put on, because they always look after you at Man United in the food and the cuisine department. So very much looking forward to that. Big hello to Sid, who joins us from Toronto this evening. A very good evening to you, buddy. So, I mean, press conference-wise, Ruben Amorim was up earlier this afternoon at Carrington, the Man United training complex. Joshua, how was that? And what was it, the big talking points from what he had to say? Because let's face it, he is a man under pressure. He's only been in the job what seems like 2 minutes, but he's having a tough old time there.
Yeah, there was a lot to kind of come out from it, Derek, and it was very much a press conference where he, to quote a bit of a Scottish cliche, he didn't back down. He doubled down on comments he'd made at the weekend and the sentiment of it. He said here at the weekend that this was, paraphrasing, but arguably one of the worst Manchester United sides in history, which is quite a big thing for your head coach to say, and different members of the press were pushing him and Harry Maguire on that too. Yeah, it's a unique angle of attack, but it is what it is. And he was interested in Amorim because obviously, I don't listen to him every single week, but I thought he was quite honest. And at one point, he was kind of pressed on something he'd said, and the fact that he wasn't backing down. He was trying to explain that he's frustrated. He admitted, "Look, I'm a young guy. I'll make mistakes." Normally, he said he doesn't address his team after a match until the next day, but he sort of broke his own protocol because of his frustration, and then that played into that press conference as well. And he was pushed a little bit further on it, and he said, "Look, if you want me to come out and be delusional, I can, but I don't want to do that. I want to be honest." Now, what you would say about that, Derek, is he's come into this job and he knows he's not, he could lose here tomorrow. He's not going to get sacked because he needs to get results in the short term. But there's also a recognition of I guess how unstable an atmosphere this club has been over the last decade or so. But he is putting himself under a bit of pressure, maybe trying to take some spotlight off the players. Obviously, they're trying to do work in the transfer window as well. But it was very much a press conference dominated by that line, the fallout from that, and how Manchester United get out of this moment. But the other thing that I thought maybe was, I don't think you'd be sitting comfortably if you were a press officer listening to it, or even a player, was when Amorim was speaking about how his side were really anxious playing here, in particular when they conceded the first goal, and Harry Maguire was quizzed on that too. And if you're a Rangers player listening to that, given that United have started slowly, they've went away and beaten Man City, drawn with Liverpool, beaten Arsenal in the FA Cup, but here they've had a really poor record, and they were losing 1-0 against Southampton here last week until former Rangers man Amad Diallo bailed them out with a late hat trick to turn that game around. So they've been vulnerable here. Obviously, they have so much quality within their squad, but because of this pattern of conceding the first goal, because of this pattern of not winning games, they sit, I think, 14th in the Premier League. There's a vulnerability that Amorim is not trying to play down. Equally, I think he went some way to not exposing it, but he certainly didn't want to move on quickly from talking about it. I don't mind that, Derek, because I think when you're in a position like he is in, there's no point in saying a tweak here or a tweak there and we'll be fine. Equally, it's a risky ploy if you don't turn things around quickly. And that's why I think this game puts a lot of pressure on United, because also Amorim says, look, we don't want a playoff game. We want more time on the training pitch in February. Obviously, if you don't make the automatic qualification for the Europa League, and Rangers are in the same situation here, you would have to play a two-legged doubleheader at the start of February. And given he is a new manager, he would obviously really value that time spent at Carrington, where we were earlier today, as opposed to playing another European game here behind me.
Well, listen, if they want to play European football next season, this is probably their best opportunity of getting into, the Champions League by winning this competition, because they are having a nightmare in the Premier League. Just on Maguire, RS40 says he's got a mistake in him, but much better than any of our centre-backs. Well, I'd like to think so, given he cost 80 million quid. But as Dexter says, quite looking forward to Eggman up against Maguire. So am I, Dex. I cannot wait to see Hamza. I'm really hoping for an R9-esque performance when he pitched up in his Real Madrid team. If we can see something like that, even a half as good performance, then we could be in for a memorable evening. I just can't wait to see him being unleashed tomorrow. Anyway, moving on.
You see of all the performances to pick out individual performances at Old Trafford, that's arguably what the best ever of an away player in the modern age. So no pressure on Hamza tomorrow.
Yes, so someone's already photoshopped him as Ronaldo in the Brazilian jersey. I think on social media I've seen it, which made me chuckle. But Ronaldo wears Hamza Eggman pyjamas, as the kids would say. But anyway, Ruben Amorim was quite complimentary about Rangers, Joshua. Says he was sort of sympathetic with Philip Clement, being also a man under pressure, given it's a club that has the most titles in Europe.
He was, and again, he was kind of pushed on that. Is there parallels there between a club that isn't where they want to be domestically? Obviously, Manchester United are slightly bigger than Rangers, but there's parallels in terms of where they sit in their relative countries too, and the number of titles they've won, and that's what Amorim kind of touched upon, whilst also speaking about how he saw Rangers' threat as a European team. It's easy to forget because of how poor Rangers have been away from home domestically. In the last month or so, we've spoken about drop points at Motherwell, Easter Road, Dens Park, Paisley, the Smiza Stadium. But under Clement, Rangers are 7 games unbeaten away from home in European competition, stretching all the way back to that Real Betis win at the end of 2023 is incredible, and they're going to do well to maintain that tomorrow. But understandably, I think he'll have a lot of respect for Clement and Rangers as a European opponent, and he'll look at how they've performed away from home in this European group stage, which is helped me out with the teams: Malmo 2-0 away, Olympiacos 1-1, and Nice 4-1. Of course, when Rangers have space to play into, they tend to be a better team. Especially, I think you saw Nice with Hamza Eggman up front. Now, they're down to the bare bones, and we'll come on to that with the resources that Clement has available.
Yeah.
But there's no denying the fact that for how frustrating Rangers have been to watch and how frustrating the results have been away from home domestically in Europe, they do just seem to be a bit of a different beast altogether.
Yep, let's talk about the Rangers press conference then, because of course James Tavernier and Philip Clement were speaking a little earlier on the squad situation. Interestingly, he did say that Jack Butland is back available for this game, so he will make an assessment on who starts in goal tomorrow. This is what he had to say on the goalkeeper situation. I never give my starting 11 before the game, but it's clear what Jack has done before for the club. It's also very good what Liam Kelly has been doing in the last couple of weeks for the club, so I'll make a correct decision tomorrow towards that. I'm happy to have two really good goalkeepers. Also, Mason gets the experience now in the Cup, and that was also important, but it's important to have two good goalkeepers, but there's also a certain hierarchy in that way after the performances of all the time that I've been in the club. That tells me, Joshua, reading between the lines, that Jack Butland is going to return tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and obviously this is a stadium he knows well, having it's Man United fan growing up, wasn't he? And also spent 6 months on loan here, not last season, obviously not last season, the season before that, just before his move to Rangers. I would fully expect him to come back in tomorrow, and this game to have been one that was earmarked. He wasn't going to come. He wasn't going to obviously come in for the Fraserburgh game at the weekend and risk not being able to make it here. So I'd fully expect Butland to come back in tomorrow. Aside from that, I think it's 8 players, Clement said, are missing from tomorrow's squad. You're looking at the back four we discussed earlier. Obviously, Mohamed Diamande misses out through suspension, limited options for Rangers on the wing. I'd expect to see Chefty and Ridvan line up on that left-hand side with Hamza Egeman, Václav Černý, and probably Nadim Barami at the top of midfield too. So kind of a team that picks itself, and like you, I agree that it will be Jack Butland who comes back and goal.
I think it'll be harsh on Liam Kelly. If Jack Butland does get the nod, we can't have any nonsense at the back. He has to be right on his game. No lapses in concentration, please, in this one. We cannot be giving up goals. Easy OK says, watching this in the gym, Derek's voice is the ultimate motivation. Absolutely superb. That's what we love to hear. Give us 10, buddy. Keep it going. But let's move on, because as well as Butland returning, Joshua, the manager said that Tom Lawrence is in the squad. He said he's trained now the first time 2 days in a row with the squad. He comes, of course, after a long injury, so it's not that he can play a lot of minutes tomorrow, but I think it's a really nice moment for him also to be back in the squad, to be back in Manchester, his home city, and to be in the club where he played in the academy. So it was good also that he could bring him with the squad today. I think he only comes on if Rangers are getting thumped or they are cruising, which I think, I would be surprised to see him tomorrow, Joshua. But given the Rangers situation in midfield, of course, no Mohamed Diamande, we could see him. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I'll make this my final point because the lights are getting turned out around me. But he's not going to start. Again, it's important that he's in the squad because there's not many options whatsoever in midfield. Clement was also asked about Rabbi Matondo, who is close to joining Coventry City on loan. And again, we discussed this in relation to Alex Lowry. Derek, I know his move has been made permanent since you and I last spoke. Getting those wages, both of those wages together, off the table for the remainder of the season is significant for Rangers. There's no two ways about it. So they're down to something close to bare bones. Rafael Fernandez, and we have a piece on the website today with a few of his ex-coaches if people want to learn a little bit more about him as a player. He's obviously not in the squad, neither is Clinton and Ciala, Oscar Cortez. You could go on. But what I think you would say about Rangers, well, Dundee United away is very much close to hand as well, and is arguably maybe not quite a bigger game given where Rangers are in the league, but you take my point in terms of the reaction that will come out of it. They've shown themselves to be an accomplished European side. It's going to be difficult tomorrow. Clement encouraged his team to go and make history. James Tavernier said he wants to win because he's a Leeds fan, which I'm sure puts an automatic target on his back tomorrow.
I love that, bro.
It's a big occasion. It's there, I think, because United are slightly vulnerable to go and be seized by Rangers. Equally, this is literally one of the most expensive squads in the entire world, and Rangers are nowhere near full strength, so it's going to be a big ask.
Yeah, but I've got a funny feeling they're going to get a positive result. I hope I am proven right. Right, we'll wrap up there because Joshua's getting kicked out. You can go and watch those press conferences over on the YouTube channel, folks. Go and check them out. A big thank you to Joshua and also to Chris, who was partnering him at the press conference earlier on. What's that?
He's here somewhere. He'll be joining me tomorrow morning and you before build up to the big one.
Superb stuff. Right, folks, enjoy your Wednesday and we'll speak to you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.